Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Backmarkers F1 Show. This is episode number 56. We're here to recap another exciting F1 race, the British Grand Prix. I'm glad to have everyone along, Chris Cato, Tyler McDonald, and Shaker Barty alongside. And first of all, thank you to all the new subscribers. Once again, we've had a couple more since the last week, and we got a lot of good responses and comments on our previous podcast previewing this race. So keep it up. We're on the push to 1,000. So if you're new to the show, just do us a favor and subscribe down below before you continue. We're close to 1,000, so hoping to get there before the summer break. But we got some other news to get to today with the British Grand Prix. And I'll be honest with you, I was telling you guys this before the race too. I was a bit under the weather this weekend, so I couldn't fully pay attention to this race and invest the energy into it. And I watched the race after a ridiculous 5-hour Wimbledon final. That was
very
heartbreaking.
Very good.
So emotionally, I was very
you're a Federer
all
guy.
over the place.
Yeah, that's right. You're Federer.
Too much.
My dad was pretty upset.
Same with mine. We all were. Fucking Djokovic. Anyways, so I did watch the race. I did enjoy it though because it was a good race, and I must say, because I was asking you guys, I was hearing the Sky Sports broadcasters there saying it was better than Austria. And I was at the time kind of thinking like, oh, well, they're sort of just saying that because it's Silverstone, it's the UK. But you guys were saying that you'd agree with them. And Tyler, you're saying that in terms of the on-track battle all the way from, let's say 3rd to 17th and 18th, there was action all the way through. And it was more so in Austria, just that it was a battle for the race win. But this race provided us with a lot more wheel-to-wheel action than Austria did.
Yeah, 2 good races on the double. How about that?
Crazy,
Who would have
right?
thought?
What
Yeah,
is this, F1?
that's true.
Yeah, seriously. I thought this was F2.
Well, there's 2 big British wins this weekend, too. England won the Quaker World Cup.
Did they?
Yeah, same
Oh,
day.
wow.
Yeah. So
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Oh, and they also had Jack Aiken win the F2 race.
Damn.
The sprint
Yeah.
race. The
So
sprint race.
Good weekend for
Very good weekend.
for England in general.
But yeah, like it's a case of 2 different races, like 2 different exciting styles. One was for the lead and to see who's going to win, and that dramatic happened throughout the latter part of the race, where the British Grand Prix, as Seb agrees, was throughout the whole race, and it was throughout the whole field, which was nice to see. On track battles, pit lane battles between Max and Charles, and Red Bull and Ferrari, which was amazing to watch. And kudos to Red Bull, who set a world record pit stop time. I wasn't sure if it was on that max stop, but 1.91 seconds. Which was Pierre's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
It's really well done.
We were talking how well Williams was doing in their pit stops. But
Well, I mean, it really is all like it's not even a tenth of a second, right? Williams had
1.98. I think they had 1.98.
Or did they? Oh no, was it Red Bull broke their own record?
Yeah,
then?
well, it was Red Bull and Williams tied with that
Okay,
record,
right.
but from a few years back.
Mm-hmm. Regardless, I mean, when
ridiculous.
you think about it, like we're talking 1.91 seconds.
It took you 2 seconds to say 1.91 seconds.
Yeah.
You can't even break down that pit stop because it would take you way longer than the actual pit stop.
Yeah.
So especially they show the camera angle with the wheel gun, just how quick it was and how efficient it was. That's crazy. I mean, I know like we debate maybe sometimes of which pit stops were better with refueling and stuff like that, but I mean it's still really impressive to see the because it's coordination all
yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
It's a
one.
poetry in motion.
Yeah.
Dance. It's a dance. I don't know. But yeah, it was just 2 completely different races. But personally, I thought, the Austrian Grand Prix had its lulls. Yes, it was a fantastic race and very exciting. The British Grand Prix was exciting throughout the whole race, and no matter who who you're watching, whether it was at the beginning of the race, Hamilton and Bottas, in the middle of the race, after Giovinazzi bended in the sand, we had the safety car restart, Lewis starting up in the lead because of that whole thing. Norris and Ricciardo had great battles throughout the race. Pierre Gasly, who raced phenomenally. We could finally say that the first time this year.
Yeah, good for him.
Took a while.
I was about Pierre Gasly. I was gonna say he at the beginning it looked like he was just being a really good teammate, keeping it all together for Max. But after that incident with Vettel, it was Pierre Gasly really stepped up to bring it for the rest of the race.
Yeah, and that incident. Yeah.
We'll get into it later.
We'll get it.
We'll get into it. Okay.
Just on Gasly too, the whole weekend I think FP2 he finished first.
Yeah.
They put him on the soft tire, but I think that was nicely done by Red Bull just to give him that confidence to see your name on the top of the timing sheet. So, yeah, I think overall probably I'd say maybe his best F1 weekend so far, and hopefully he can build on it.
I don't know if his best F1 weekend. I think he's had better drives in the Toro Rosso. But
true. I meant for this year. For
this
Red
year,
Bull,
absolutely, yeah, 100%. I think that's his best week this year by a long shot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's. But I mean, we've been crapping on him throughout the whole year, so let's give him credit where credit's due. So good work from Pierre.
Maybe he takes all the comments though and just uses it.
Maybe he listens to our podcast.
Maybe
and
we
was
should
like,
just shit talk him some
screw
more,
these guys.
and he'll do better and better.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were pretty fair with him though. I don't think we were that mean. But
No.
You heard Hulkenberg was gonna come steal his ride. And he's
right.
Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh man, Hulkenberg was pissed this weekend.
Yeah.
Very
so
pissed.
It should be very interesting to see how that entire story plays out.
The plot thickens in silly season after that team radio message at the end of the race.
Yeah, it does, and you could tell the engineer was kind of like, "Oh, we'll settle down. We'll deal with this after."
Yeah, we'll talk about it once your headset's off.
I mean, to be fair, like he has a great point.
Yeah.
It kind of is his engineer's team's fault of what happened there.
Yeah, I mean, Charles Leclerc has been the victim of that kind of this whole season, right, with just questionable strategies. So I think it's good for the driver to kind of I mean, we saw Kimi similar in this race last year where he had to serve the 10-second, and he was like, "Whoa, what? I'm not allowed to think anymore." Okay.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes good for the driver to just kind of be a little bit more assertive and.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Lando Norris is a perfect example of that for this race, where. He knew halfway through the race that they had messed up his team strategy, and he told them right away, he's like, "We've already messed up the team strategy, so like I'll just keep racing, I guess. I'll do what I need to."
Yeah.
Where on the other side, Carlos Sainz, perfect strategy, carried him all the way through, and he had a fantastic race.
I don't think it's really McLaren's fault that is
bad
strategy.
I think
it's bad luck.
It was the safety
luck.
car.
Yeah.
And I'm not blaming McLaren for it, but
poorly timed for McLaren and poorly timed for Valtteri.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it.
And then, Carlos Sainz had an unbelievable race. Great battles with Daniel Ricciardo throughout it. And it seems like Daniel Ricciardo's kind of chosen his team he wants to race this season now.
McLaren,
It's a good battle. Carlos is a smooth operator, so.
Smooth operator.
You saw that, right?
Yeah.
He was really happy. Like a good drive for him too, and another guy that kind of benefited from the whole race scenario with the safety cars and everything. But yeah, the last 10, 12 laps or so with Ricciardo, he was pretty much qualifying laps. So
yeah,
which which brings you back to you guys' point saying that the race was more exciting. It was all the way through the end we saw these battles. So even though the front was kind of determined already, but after second place there was battles for positions all the way till 16, 17.
Yeah.
So that was great. So, getting into the individual incidents, there was a couple in this race that's kind of the talking point. A couple of days removed after the race. We can start with just the beginning with the two Mercs going at it, Valtteri and Lewis. It was nice to see Valtteri get his elbows out a little bit, and he pulled off a great overtake going into, I'm not exactly sure which turn it is, but the blind right-hander.
Yeah.
Before the sequence of Beckett's, and I think it's down the Chapel, down the Hangar Straight. So that was a great battle, and I was hoping to get more of that, but unfortunately because of the safety car, we didn't really get to see them battle too much head-to-head. So, I think it's unfortunate for Valtteri again with how the race sort of played out. Not really by his own mistakes, but just got unlucky with the safety car. Wasn't able to come back afterwards and challenge Lewis, but still, I mean, he did get pole position at Lewis's home race, which is something that's really difficult to do. So some positives for him, but again, it's still frustrating, I think.
Yeah, it got to be very frustrating. I mean, I think Hamilton would have got by him if he didn't pit. So it was a smart strategy call from Mercedes to pit Valtteri. I had a tough time speaking today.
Yeah.
Smart to pit Valtteri when they did. And I was kind of baffled whether they kept keeping Lewis out there because I'm like, well, Valtteri is just gonna keep going away with it. And then the safety car came out and you're like, wow.
They talked with Giovinazzi.
Yeah, they did, yeah. You just think the chances, what are the chances that happened? And it was just great luck for Hamilton.
Well, I mean, it also happened at the end of the race where they were trying to bring Lewis Hamilton into the pit, and then apparently Valtteri had a issue with his car. He could feel it shaking a little bit.
Yeah,
so
vibration.
they had a vibration in his car, and they had to bring him in right away rather than Lewis.
I would have been if I was Valtteri, I would have been I don't know. I would have, if I knew they were bringing Lewis in, I would have just ignored team orders
Oh,
and just
yeah.
kept going.
That's why you couldn't bring him in, Lewis, in my opinion, because
Yeah.
Valtteri would have stayed out.
Yeah.
So that would have been fun, though.
Oh, it would have been awesome. It would have been so dramatic.
But then again, well, we must say how impressive from Lewis Hamilton to set the fastest lap on the hard
Yeah.
tire.
On the
Warren.
very final lap.
Warren hard tires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Who pitted for soft to try and set the fastest lap? Vettel?
Valtteri.
Oh, it's Valtteri. I thought it was someone else.
No, it was
That was
Valtteri.
Valtteri. Oh,
Yeah.
yikes.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
It is impressive. I don't know which engine modes he was using. Maybe Valtteri didn't turn up the engine and just used the pace of the new tires. But I mean, it was a little surprising to me though that he would push, because we've seen 2 years ago Ferrari have major punctures at this circuit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a high load circuit on the tires. So for you to push the very last lap, and he was pushing pretty hard, 30 lap old hard tires.
You're
and
watching that car go through, and you're like, oh, he's giving it right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, pretty impressive by him to at least give the fans a lot of excitement on the last lap and to put it all out there instead of just bringing the car home, because, I mean, he doesn't make too many mistakes, but one mistake or picks up a puncture here and there goes the race win. So, yeah, another clinical performance by him, and you were saying his 80th victory.
Yeah, I think that's what Crofty's Instagram picture said. 80th victory.
6th British Grand Prix. It's the record. So he had 5 coming into this. Now he has 6. So I think he's the most successful ever, right?
Yeah, at Silverstone, I think
At
that's what it is.
Silverstone, yeah.
Because before I think it was it Jackie Stewart or
I don't remember.
yeah, I don't.
Alan? Something?
I don't think it was Alan Prost.
It was on.
Oh no, you know who it was? It was Jim Clark.
It was.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
That's what I was thinking of.
correct.
Yeah. So, and it was a good weekend for him. I mean, all the British fans were coming out, great energy, and just renewed the track for another 5 years.
Yeah,
You could see
2024.
everybody's energy, which was really great.
I mean, sold out as usual.
Yeah.
I think what they said the race day attendance was 141,000.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
Yeah.
insane amount of people.
It's a lot of people.
But no, it's an iconic race, and it gave us another one of those fantastic British Grand Prix races. We saw that last year, and again this year. I think it's always I'm glad it's back on the calendar because it provides quality races. It's an old school track. We don't see that mesh happen that often, where it's an old school track and still provides top quality racing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a great circuit, so we're really happy to have it on the
Jim
calendar.
Clark and Alan Prost are tied.
Oh, so it is Alan
well
Prost.
done.
Yep, there you go. So moving on into the second, which was kind of my favorite battle or favorite part of the race, was Max Verstappen versus Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
Kind of happened, not exactly sure which laps it was going to, but excuse me. I wanted to talk about this battle because this is sort of the battle that F1 needs right now and also going into the future. And we're probably going to get this a lot more 5-10 years down from the road when these two are going to be battling out for world championships, when the likes of Vettel and Hamilton are retired. And what I love, especially from Charles Leclerc as well, is that he learned from Austria. He wasn't too complacent about the incident and saying that it wasn't fair. He didn't really want Max to be penalized. He learned from it and said, okay, if that's how we're going to do it, then I'm just going to do it like that, but even better. And we saw that. I mean, they were pushing each other off the track, trying to overtake even off the track. It was phenomenal racing.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. I think that was the most intense racing I've seen in the past year.
Yeah.
I don't think I can think of another instance. Monaco was a stressful one from last year, just to see what would happen with Daniel Ricciardo. But I don't think I've seen any battle that I was sat through the entire race and was at the edge of my seat to see what would happen with the outcome.
Two guys are there about to crash, but
Just don't.
Yeah. It was so close.
Well,
No,
yeah,
it was.
even in the pit lane, like we were saying, great pit lane battles. We were talking about earlier. We thought there was going to be a penalty given to Max for that to basically jump up right ahead, but they did a really good job avoiding each other but also keeping each other in the race throughout the entire thing. So
yeah, I was really worried that we're gonna give Max a 5-second, unsafe release penalty or something, but they didn't. Thank God.
When I saw Luizzi was one of the driver stewards, I was like, okay, we're good. At least we got one former F1 driver there, so we're all right. But I know it's always sketchy, right, with the stewards.
Yeah. Well, especially after
It's a big-
this year, it's just
Yeah.
who knows?
But it seems like they're starting to kind of come around and they're
Relax.
starting to relax, exactly. And they're letting these boys do what they want to do. And it wasn't just Verstappen, Leclerc. It was Ricardo and Norris, and with Sainz and Kvyat. We also had a lot of good wheel-to-wheel battles.
Great wheel racing, Vettel and
Wheel
Verstappen.
to bumper racing.
Wheel to bumper. Yeah, I was gonna say, was that really racing?
Yeah. But with Max and Charles, they've been doing it since karting.
Yeah.
They have. And like you said, it's gonna be a battle we see in the future. And I think I said it on last week's review. Sorry, well, not last week, but last race review in Austria, on how this is we're getting a taste of what we're gonna see in the future. And I think this is just kind of another appetizer and a 10-course meal we're gonna have down the line.
Great analogy, Tyler.
Thanks. I really stretched that one. But we'll see how this all plays out, because if this continues, we have that battle going on, and
I feel like Lando Norris is
perfect
going
for
to be part
F1.
of that battle in the future as
Definitely
well.
could be.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, like you said, it's what we have looking forward. There's a lot to look forward to with the next 5 to 10 years of the drivers we're going to be seeing.
A lot of great young drivers.
Yeah, and we were talking about it earlier with Williams drivers, getting out of that 19th and 20th
14th
spot.
and 15th
Yeah.
for Williams. Basically a points finish.
So
pretty much.
Yeah, and with 3 British drivers for the British Grand Prix this year?
Throw in Albon.
Yeah,
I count
Albon's
Albon.
Yeah.
technically a fourth, but
yeah,
races under the tie flag because of his parents, I
yeah.
believe.
So overall, very good. And did you guys read this comment with Alex Albon pulling a Vettel and Vettel pulling? No, it was Danny Kvyat. Danny Kvyat pulling a Vettel at the end of British Grand Prix, and speaking in Italian back to Toro Rosso.
I did see that.
And then, and then Vettel,
Crashing.
yeah.
Well, Kvyat speaks like 5 or 6 languages.
Yeah, I heard
He's
about that too.
Insanely smart.
Yeah. So
Very smart man.
Yeah, and his English is very, very good.
yeah.
Like normally with Russians, you can kind of tell that more. It's like a thicker Russian accent with some Russians, but his, I was reading somewhere that he knows like 4 or 5 different
Yeah, I
languages
was reading
almost
that as well.
fluently. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. A lot of these drivers, it always impresses me with these athletes. And with Verstappen and Leclerc, it's the battle that we need. If the championship isn't going to be as exciting, then this is a great point to kind of sort of sell it to the fans too, because if you got somebody that isn't really familiar with F1 and you show them this on-track battle between these two guys, they're going to be like, wow, this is great.
yeah.
Here's an idea. Just because I've been watching the Tour de France a little bit,
Okay.
they have a young riders awards, the top rider that under the age of 23 or 25 or whatever it is. Would you like to see something like that introduced in F1, where you have the F1 World Championship and then the F1 Young Drivers Award or Championship for the drivers underneath the age of 23?
Do they not have that?
No.
No. They
That's
have like
shocking to me, because every other sport has
Yeah.
that.
yeah, I
Like,
mean
and it's just a different world title. Like it's all the points go to the same spot, but just those points also transfer to the under 23 championship for the drivers in Formula 1.
I don't know if I would like to see an under 23 championship, but I would like to see an award given to something like a young driver.
Yeah,
a
but
rookie of the year.
you'd have to
Have a point system.
A
of
point
some
system
kind,
to
of
get
some
that young
kind.
driver.
Yeah, okay. I see
So that's
what
what I
you're
mean, just transfer the points over, like they go to both standings.
saying. Yeah, no, I could
'Cause
see
that's what
that.
the Tour de France does, and then just instead of a yellow jacket, they get the white jacket, I think is what it is.
Yeah, I think that they have to invest in the younger generation because, I mean, just to compare, like we were talking about tennis off the top of the show, the ATP has made a huge push to push the next generation because, like, when Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic retire, tennis is going to take a massive hit.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
for
it's
sure.
the greatest era ever, and when those guys leave, it's going to be a massive plummet. So they're really ramping up promotion, and they do, like the regular professionals, they have the World Tour finals, and then they have the next gen finals in a different city. So it's a good way to promote the new players and the younger generation at the end of the year, which I think it's great. So with F1, I think something like that might not be a bad idea to have this, rookie of the year kind of championship or
It doesn't even
award.
have to be rookie of the year. Like it can be if
Yeah,
you
your young driver of the year.
young driver, whatever. Like
Yeah.
Brendan Hartley wouldn't, even though he's a rookie
Right.
last year, he wouldn't count.
Yeah, that's right.
Or like Max would be
23 and
counting for
under.
like 8 years. He could be in that award.
Yeah, you'd probably win it every year. But yeah, you come up with some point system, like not just on points you score in the races, because obviously like Leclerc would have an advantage being in Ferrari, but just in terms of maybe driver, I don't know how they would rank it, but for sure, I think it'd be something. I mean, it's the most exciting part of the year, right? Seeing these young guys battle it out, and they're all coming from F2, and they're still driving like they're in F2. And unfortunately, you know, the broadcast always can't focus on the midfield because you're focused on the top 3 positions. But that racing is so far the best this season, so I wouldn't think it's a bad idea to have something like that.
No,
Let's do it.
Good
Okay.
point. Yeah.
Listen to us, F1.
Yeah.
If this idea comes in the next month, I'm gonna be like, we're taking credit.
Then you gotta get that lawsuit going.
Copyright.
Actually, I guess speaking of lawsuit and copyrights, we can talk about Haas
hell's going
F1. What is going
What is
on
going
with
on?
Rich Energy? I mean, first of all, like this
They
company
seem like a 16-year-old bitching to their mom about Twitter or
Through
about their mom
Twitter,
on
yeah.
Twitter is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say.
I feel like this
what?
company, it's like one of those fronts for money launderers or something.
It has
you know
to
what I
be.
mean? Like it's just so weird. They've been sketchy since day one. I've never heard of them. And I mean, like, I'm not a big energy drink guy, but you know the big ones like Monster and Red Bull.
I've never heard of
Like
Rich
even
Energy
Nos.
until F1
Nobody,
started
yeah.
this year.
There's a
No-
whole bunch of ones.
Nobody's ever heard of this company. Like, you can't buy their stuff outside of the UK, I think, and maybe online in every couple of
And it's
places.
stupid expensive.
Apparently, it's very good with vodka.
I'm sure
I've
probably
heard.
just to stomach it.
Did Kevin Magnuson tell you that? or-
No, Rich Energy did actually.
Oh. Same thing.
Yeah. And so they've just come out of nowhere. Supposedly they have all this money. I don't know. And then, just recent weeks, they've terminated the contract on Twitter. Haas said they didn't. Now Rich Energy's saying that they've got the whole lawsuit going on with the other company because of the similarities with the logo. And now they've renamed Rich Energy. And let me just check what it was again. They're renamed to Lightning Volt.
Is that on Twitter too?
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
they
okay.
haven't renamed it on Twitter yet.
So, first of all, there's an energy drink called Jolt already. There's also a lighting company and film called Lightning Volt. So
They're not even verified on Twitter.
There you
yeah,
go.
I don't trust anything they say.
How are they not verified on Twitter?
Then again, there's some crazy people that are verified, so I don't really think the bar is that high.
Oh, this is their latest tweet. Lobbying for the removal of the CEO, largest shareholder and founder of your title partner is a reputory breach Haas F1. Mr. Story was also personal guarantor of your contract. It is like Rich Energy seeking to remove Gene Haas. Amidst the noise, let's get real. What is this?
But like
He runs the Twitter himself. He doesn't have a marketing team to run the Twitter.
Seriously?
He's doing all this by himself.
They also follow or sponsor Luke Mosey, who's a bike rider.
I don't know why you would try to, just join F1 as a sponsor and go after Red Bull as your number one competition.
I'm gonna send you this tweet, and you're gonna put it up. Okay, we're gonna put this photo up right now, and it's. I guess this is Big Phil Campion. He's the official champion of the Cadet Force, best-selling author who has presented TV for Sky, Big Phil's War Inquiries, and it has this thing here, and he says the drink that apparently isn't a drink, and it's him with a bunch of cases of Rich Energy.
Wow, so apparently he found some.
This is a weird tweet.
I don't understand.
And I feel like I don't understand either. It's just some random guy. He's verified on Twitter, and Rich Energy isn't. So I don't know what's going on.
Nobody does.
Nobody really does.
It's a strange.
If you're
company.
the owner of Rich Energy, please comment down in the comment section
Oh,
below
he
and
will.
let us
Probably
know.
will.
He will too.
At least send some cases of Rich Energy.
Yeah, like let us know you're real. Like, you can sponsor us if you want, but like that's to
We're not
prove you're
verified
real.
either, so
yeah,
there you
it
go.
Works out.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a really strange part, and I mean, I guess Haas doesn't really need this considering how badly their season's gone, and now
Yeah.
they're dealing with all this.
It wouldn't be like it'd be cool if Monster came in and sponsored them. They sponsor the NASCAR series, which Gene Haas has a team in.
Yeah.
It's just you think that would make more sense for Monster to
I
sponsor.
don't know why
I don't
Nos
know.
doesn't sponsor F1. It's like the perfect racing energy
Nos?
drink.
Probably not enough money.
Yeah, they're
That's
probably.
true. They're
Which
smaller. energy
Begs the
drink.
question where this company got the money.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, there's your Haas F1 Rich Energy drama for the week.
We'll see how it plays out because there's a lot of lawsuits going on
Yeah.
with that company. So we'll see with the next race what happens with
We could
Lightning
have
Volt Haas F1 team.
we could have a livery change.
So just a big lightning bolt in the middle.
Yeah, they could not be black and gold anymore. They could go back to their regular colors. Like who knows what's gonna happen?
I'd say like a bright blue with a yellow lightning bolt.
Oh, Sauber-esque.
Yeah, exactly.
Yikes.
Okay, so moving on, we'll talk about the incident, the wheel-to-bumper contact between Verstappen and Vettel.
Racing incident. Just kidding.
I think it was pretty clear to everyone that it was not a well. I mean, it is a racing incident, but it's an incident that obviously warranted a penalty. Now, I mean, you could have easily not penalized it because Vettel was out of the race anyway. But yeah, I mean, at that point, like I honestly had no problem with the penalty.
I think they kind of had to do it though, just to kind of justify how the last month and a half has gone with the F1 stewards and everything. It was one of those things they couldn't just sit back on because people would have questioned, be like, well, why wasn't that a penalty, even though he had already lost the race.
Yeah, you got to keep the consistency, I guess.
Yeah.
But this one is sort of clear, right? I mean, he
for sure
made a mistake, punted Max off the track. Luckily, Max was able to recover. I don't know how. I don't know how he didn't stall in the gravel first of all.
Well, there's anti-stall.
Yeah, but Giovinazzi couldn't get back
Well,
on.
yeah, I guess he got bogged down. Because what happens is your wheels spin, and then it kind of creates a platform, so your wheels aren't grabbing anything.
Guys,
it's grabbing
come on.
air.
It's because Red Bull gives you wings.
That's Rich Energy's problem.
That's true. That is true.
Good. Yeah.
That would be a good
call.
commercial. That would be a great commercial for Red Bull. And if they steal your idea, you should sue them. Red Bull, if you're listening, hire that man.
There's some couple good ones today.
Yeah.
But you know what's weird? I've been reading online. A lot of people thought it was Max Verstappen's fault for that incident. I don't know if you guys have seen the same thing.
Who said that? The ones that the Vettel penalty was justified?
Yes, probably the same people. But it was the people basically saying, I think they were saying Max went left and then he went right and then he went back to left. And I think at that point when he went back to left, Vettel was expecting him to stay in the right lane, and that's why he basically went bombarded forward, thinking he would get the left inside.
But Vettel was switching over to the right side.
Yeah,
He was making them move to the right side to try and pass. But what happens is, and we saw the same scenario. Thank God for your F1 YouTube videos. I forget what video it was. I was saying this, but anyways, it was basically kind of the same incident as it was with the two Red Bulls in Baku, where there's no downforce on the front wing of the trailing car. So in Baku, Ricciardo, in England or Britain, Vettel. Then it's harder for the car to stop, and it's just more prone to lockups. So I think that was the issue there. It happens.
It happens.
That's just it happened to Ricciardo. I'm sure Max has done the same thing in the past. Who knows from whenever? It happens. So it's an incident that glad Max kept going. Yeah. But Vettel deserved the 10 seconds. I thought maybe they just give him 5 seconds. Probably 5 would have been enough.
I think 5 is enough.
But whatever, 10, it doesn't matter in the end. Yeah.
I mean, all class to Vettel for as soon as he got out of his car, went up to Max and apologized.
Oh, did he?
He's getting out of his car.
Oh, because on the radio he was like, what was he doing?
Yeah, well, on
that's
the radio,
the racing driver
and I think he saw the incident afterwards, and he was like, "Yeah, that's totally my fault." And he went up to Max right after the race. I think Max was still getting out of his car at this point, and he's like, "Yeah, no," he's like, "That's totally my fault. I apologize." It happens. You're racing at 200.
You're gonna crash.
Yeah, you're racing at 200 plus kilometers per hour. At one point, somebody's gonna make a little mistake, and it's gonna lead to it.
Yep.
But yeah, I hold nothing against him. It's a racing incident, but
it is a racing incident.
Yeah, so shit happens.
I was thoroughly impressed with both of their reactions, actually.
Yeah.
And again, another kudos to Max Verstappen, because I think maybe 2-3 years ago he would have been absolutely fuming after the race, looking to punch
maybe
Esteban Ocon style.
Brazil last year.
But he got out of the car and was like, talked to Seb, and he apologized, and he manned up about it, and he's like, that's racing, stuff like that. Like, he was like almost cool about it.
He was cool about it, and he even said, he's like, I'm surprised I got my car to the finish line. He was like, it felt weird, but I'm so shocked that I actually managed to finish this race. So like you said, a few years ago we would have seen him really pissed off about the incident, but I think he's growing up. He's learning that he can't be like that his entire life, and he's got to accept that sometimes shit just happens, and it's racing. You're going to exactly.
Yeah, and it's like we saw that all weekend, with the way Federer took his loss too, just with absolute class and grace. And I mean, when you think about it, like I said, it would have been completely fine for him to just be completely in tears or just so super emotional. But it's the same with these other elite drivers as well. They're able to take these sort of big moments, like Vettel, especially the last 2 years, with the amount that he's gone through, to be able to just man up and congratulate Lewis or to admit his mistakes, because he's had plenty of them. And yeah, I just really impressed with these guys.
Yeah, me too.
You say that, but everyone's just gonna think back to the Montreal Grand Prix incident.
Oh,
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
I would
I get sick of that.
Him.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
mean I would too, but I'm just saying that's what people are gonna remember for this year's
Good.
Vettel from Montreal Grand Prix.
They should.
Well, they should remember
Yeah.
the fact that he should have won that
Yeah,
race because
exactly.
the steward stole it from him because of a stupid penalty. So, yeah, nothing's going to change my opinion about that. I don't give a shit about that. So, but it does beg the question, well, what's been happening with Sebastian Vettel the last few races? Because since Canada, he's been on a horrible run of form, maybe, the worst form in his career, maybe since 2014 in Red Bull.
I mean, he hasn't won yet.
Yeah.
Well, he has one.
Yes.
In
yes,
our
he has
hearts,
won.
in our hearts,
Everyone's
he has
heart.
won.
Well, he did cross the line first. That's
Yeah,
all I'm going to say.
That's true.
So,
that is true.
But since Canada, he hasn't qualified, I think, higher than 5th.
Yeah, I think
Hasn't
he's
finished
kind of,
higher than, what, 4th maybe?
I think he needs a summer break to just kind of chill out.
He's going to his home Grand Prix. He needs a good finish.
Isn't he
before.
having a wedding? His wedding, or he had
That's
his
the
wedding?
problem. He got married.
He did get married.
That's the mistake, Seb. He got married. He's already sick of it.
Is he already married or is he getting married?
He already got married.
He
Okay.
got married between Canada and France. Correct.
Ah, okay.
But he was
Could be
with,
wrong.
I think they were in a long-term relationship, so it was just like, I guess just to make it official. It wasn't
Yeah.
a big thing, right?
Makes
so
sense. Yeah,
you don't really expect that with Vettel. But, yeah, I think you're right. I think he could use a couple of weeks away from F1. I think the problem with him is that since Canada, there was probably still some hope that Ferrari could challenge in the championship.
Yeah.
And he probably pulled out one of the best qualifying laps of his career to get pole, controlling the race. Yeah, he did make the mistake, but the way that all went down, he was probably frustrated with himself. It just kind of left a really sour taste in his mouth, and he just he can't get up for F1 that same way when he knows that we're not going to be fighting for the race win.
Yeah.
And in big picture, he knows there's no way we're going to win the championship again. So look back to the last 2 years, 2017, 2018 could have won the championship. It was so close. He had to accept a tough loss. Now in 2019, he's having to accept another tough loss, and the fact that I can't challenge for the championship this year. So I think that all just culminates into this yeah, it's still fun to drive the cars, but the competition isn't there. The balance of the car is there. He's complaining a lot about that, and that doesn't suit his driving style because he's used to, a car that has a lot of rear stability. And in the past years, he's had it. Now he doesn't, and that's very difficult to adapt. Whereas, let's say Leclerc is still 2 years into the sport, so it's a lot easier for him. So
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think a few weeks away might help him clear his mind. I also think that just a year, like the off season, will help him clear his mind, and then hopefully 2020 will bring a positive or a competitive car that's going to challenge. But I still don't think he's going to retire. He's still young.
No,
and
I don't think he's going
No, I
to
don't
retire
think so
either.
Yeah, I just think that his
I think he
mission
wants
is
to win
set on.
5.
Yeah, set on winning with Ferrari too.
Yeah, he wants to pull what Michael Schumacher did and win with Ferrari, right? I think
Yeah,
that's what he wants.
Absolutely. So it's just one of those things where little things get in the way, and then it all just snowballs into eventually this big incident with Verstappen, which was a misjudgment of a braking zone. And unfortunately, he's an easy one to hate on because he had so many mistakes, right?
Yeah.
And he's kind of lost his touch with terms of wheel-to-wheel racing. It must be said. He's not one of the top 3, maybe even top 5 wheel-to-wheel racers right now because of the incidents that we've seen in the last couple of years. So he's still a world champion, so don't underestimate him. I think that he will win a race at some point this year, but I think he can't wait for the summer break at this point.
No, I think you're right.
He's going to win at Germany.
It would be huge.
That'd be good.
That's where it all went wrong last year, so it'd be nice to rewrite that
Yeah, it
ship.
would be. Imagine, and then he comes back and wins the title. Wow.
Wow. The only thing for Ferrari is lock out the front row in Monza, and the rest of the season doesn't matter.
No, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like
Or
if they
win
win
in
their home
Monza.
race,
Yeah.
that'll be good for them. Okay, so a couple more things. We quickly talked about this a couple minutes ago, but the midfield battles were really good.
Yeah, they were.
Yep.
The midfield battles were really good. Kvyat, Ricciardo, Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz, they were all getting their elbows out, and it was great racing. Danny Kvyat, hats off to him from going, I think started like P19.
Yeah, 17, 18.
17, somewhere around there to get to ninth. Raikkonen as well, I think, finished 8th.
Yep.
Yeah, he had a good race as well. It was interesting seeing Kimi drive the 1950 Alpha. In the beginning of the race. That was cool. But yeah, I really enjoyed the midfield battles. And again, it's a shame that we can't see it more often in the race. It'd be cool. I don't know if you can do it with F1 TV, but to just get like a midfield track mix and just be able to like look at that the rest of the race. Because the top 2 were kind of already decided it wasn't going to change. So it would have been nice to just go to the midfield
or
and
just
see
have
these
like
guys.
an onboard. Like you have access to the onboards of each team.
Right.
Or each driver would be pretty cool. You pay a subscription for that. And
you have it on F1 TV. It's
You
just not available in Canada.
Oh, well, that sucks. I'm glad to see that there is some sort of midfield battle this year, though, because even though Mercedes is like running away with things, like we have something to keep track on. It was a great kind of race through and through the midfield, all the way down to Hulkenberg, and I forget who finished 12th. But
I think Perez or Stroll?
No, Perez.
Right here.
Stroll was 13th.
12th was Alexander Albon.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
Oh, there we go.
Albon, yeah. That's who I was thinking of, who had a great race as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty much from 12th all the way up to 6th, 7th, 8th, somewhere around there. It was fantastic to watch, and hopefully we have more of that coming forward.
Yeah, Germany was really unpredictable last year, so we'll see what happens this season. Haven't had a wet race in a while, so it'd be maybe nice to get another one of those again. But yeah, it's good. I mean, two really exciting races on the trot, and the last kind of 3 out of 4 races have been a positive step forward, even though Mercedes have won the majority of them again.
So are we not going to talk about Roman Grosjean?
What, spinning in the pit lane?
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, I saw a meme of that where it's like
Ericsson did hit him all the way.
I didn't see that.
All the way from the U.S. Ericsson
from
hit him.
IndyCar. I saw one where it was like Red Bull gives you wings and then rich energy, and it was like picture Grosjean without a front wing. Yeah,
I read one.
Strange.
I read one that's like Roman Grosjean. I'm gonna do a donut. No, Roman, don't do a donut. No, I'm gonna do one in the pit right now.
I've never seen that before. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I've seen people spin out of pit lane, but not knock their front wing off.
I just saw him on TV. He's like, mate, I just spun in the pit lane.
I love how he says mate before everything.
Yeah.
Too. And then like they get another team radio message is like F S.
I'm surprised he wasn't like, mate, could you report that guardrail to the stewards?
Yeah. Mate, did you see that?
The guardrail definitely hit me.
Oh, what? Mate, what? Mate, what is he thinking, mate?
Mate, that green light was too bright.
Anyways,
Boy.
poor Roman.
Yeah. Wait, was it at the exit or the entry?
Exit.
Exit?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it is pretty steep, so.
I mean, cold tires. I understand
I mean,
why you spin. It's just
A Red Bull and a Ferrari managed to make it through that, and then he fucked it up. So there's got to be something wrong with the car at that point. There's some issue with it at least.
Well, they went back to their spec Australia, which they actually like.
That's hilarious. That's when you know it's really bad.
It's like, man.
I've never seen a team go back to their original car
my
setup
God.
concept for the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Just go
bad.
back to last year's.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly. Put last year's front wing on it. Hopefully no one notices.
Jesus. Yeah. It was a double DNF, right?
Yeah.
Double
for
DNF
double
because
DNF.
they hit each other.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I remember that now. I saw that. I think Gunter said the only way it could have. What was he like? The only way the weekend could have been better, or he said something along lines like they should have brought a shovel to just dig themselves out of the hole that they're in right now, or something like that. But yeah, he was not happy.
I can't wait to see the F1 documentary.
It's gonna be
series
great this year.
Oh my God, it's gonna be really
with
interesting.
Gunther and with Rich Energy being like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
I just want to see that reaction to him.
That's like a
spinning in the pit
two-part
lane,
episode.
too.
That's like a 2-part episode. Just Haas
It's
and Rich
gotta be.
Energy.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
Make
Especially-
it a 20-part series this year. I hope they cover every race this year.
Yeah. Just
You know what? That'd be pretty cool.
Because last year they only did like
10?
6 episodes, 8 episodes.
10?
I don't think
I
it
think
was
it was
10.
7, wasn't it? 7 or 8? I don't know.
Guessing.
But yeah, there's a lot of great storylines now, but I think Haas is going to be another good one.
Yeah, it will be.
And people want to see more Gunther Steiner, so Netflix is going to be all over it.
Oh, it'll be hounding him.
The conference calls between Gunther and the Rich Energy CEO.
Oh, give it to me.
Uncensored. I would just love to hear that. He's great. We'll get him on the podcast one day.
Oh, that'd be. I don't think you'd get anyone better on the podcast.
Yeah, seriously. But
Max, maybe.
yeah, well, that would be not bad. One
Maybe.
day.
One day.
Well, we'll work on it. Get to that 1,000 subs, and then we'll get in that club.
Yeah, we will.
You know, I don't think they talk to you unless you're at least 1,000.
Maybe.
What about anything else from the race that you guys wanted to talk about? I think we kind of covered most of all of
covered
it.
The only
everything.
thing we didn't talk about is for Racing Point.
Force India.
Force India. Is there much
Noth-
to talk about
noth-
them, though?
Nothing special.
Perez crashed.
They're
Stroll
introducing.
didn't do well.
He did finish though, right?
He did finish.
He did finish, yeah.
They're introducing a new car in Germany, so
Are they?
yeah,
Oh,
like
a new
nice.
brand
car.
new.
Not even like upgrades. A new car.
Yeah, it's gonna be like green. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. They said it was gonna be like all new, upgraded, everything. It's just gonna be new. It's gonna be different.
Imagine they're just like top 3, nowhere in Germany. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be interesting. We'll have to keep a tab on that for our Germany preview.
Yeah. So I'll try and find out exactly what new bits are going on the car, but I've heard it was like they're just gonna bring in a new car. So
Interesting.
it'd be funny if they had like a Racing Point road car, and that's what they're talking about. Like,
New trailer.
yeah. It's like the way Aston Martin they debuted that was it the Valkyrie at Silverstone?
Oh, do they actually do
geez,
that?
looks great. Looks
Haven't seen
amazing.
it.
I don't know if it's a road car or if it's meant for like I mean, it looks like a racing car, but I guess they're selling it. But yeah, they think they worked with Red Bull to develop the car a little bit. So
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Looks
That makes
amazing.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Red Bull had the 007 also going. James
did
Bond
see
was
Yeah, I
there.
did see that. That was
Yeah.
nice
Cool.
done.
Their race suits are really cool with
Yeah,
the,
with the tie.
Yeah, that was awesome.
well done.
that was neat.
Inaccurate though, because 007 usually wears bow ties.
That's true.
I
Just
thought
saying.
I thought it was a bow tie.
Was it a
on
bow tie? I thought it was just a regular tie. I'm gonna look this up right
Yeah,
now.
I thought it was a bow tie, but yeah, that was. I don't know what. I think it was because James Bond drives Aston Martins, right?
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
the whole.
that
yeah,
was the
okay.
whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because I
Is there
saw
a new James Bond movie coming out eventually? Soon?
Yeah. It's, whatever.
Whatever.
You know, I always wondered how that worked. Like, it's different people playing the same character. Like,
Correct.
They're all different
That's weird.
007s.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an agent name.
Oh,
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but like
they're all
James
named
Bond,
James
was.
Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an agent name. Somebody's given the name of James Bond in 007.
haven't seen
It's
it. I haven't seen the movie, so I
I
can't.
don't think it works like that in the real world. But like, there's only one Jason
There's
Bourne.
8 of them. It's like, what the hell? Yeah. There is.
Either way, guys, I'm pretty sure James Bond is based off like a real agent from like the 50s, whereas Jason Bourne's just made up.
Yeah, but
Jason
Bourne's
Bourne is
so
real,
much more
bro.
cool.
Like when
Jason
that other
Bourne
guy
is
played
so
him,
much cooler.
that was an insult.
What's
No,
his
but he
name?
didn't play. Oh, excuse me. He didn't play him. He played his buddy.
Yeah, but it was still called Bourne something.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they even used the name was just
It was
disrespectful.
totally a bow tie. You're right.
Was?
I
There you
take my
go.
comment back.
That's what I thought.
I think it has to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was neat. Neat little thing. But yeah, I think that about does it.
Yeah. Excuse our coughing throughout this podcast.
Yeah,
especially
there's
mine.
something going around.
There's something going around in Ottawa
Dying
right
there,
now.
Yeah. I'm sick in the summer. It's horrible.
Yeah, it is awful.
Brutal. But yeah, anyways, still trugging along. So we got Germany coming up. We'll have just under the weather this weekend. Wasn't able to get the power rankings ready. So we'll have that for we'll do one like before the German Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And then we'll start to do the regular schedule after each race.
Okay.
So we got the German Grand Prix preview coming up. That will be next week. And then we'll see if we're going to be doing a recap because I'll be away for about a week or so. But we'll see if we can get a recap for you guys out at some point after that race. And then I think we got only one more race after that, and it's the summer break, right?
I believe so.
It's just Germany in the summer break, right?
I thought it was Germany-Hungary.
Yeah, I think Hungary's the beginning of August,
I
like
don't
4th or something.
I think so.
Let's find out.
I got it in my calendar, but actually, just on the summer break, it would be a good thing to maybe do a question and answer.
Oh yeah, Hungary is back to back.
Yeah.
August
yeah.
2nd to the 4th.
Perfect. Yeah, so we got an August race.
And then we'll have to be hungry for more F1 races after the summer break.
Good one.
Woo! Nailed it.
What did you say was the 4th, right?
August 2nd to the 4th.
Second to the 4th, yeah, okay. And then the summer break, I think, comes back beginning of September.
Yeah,
for
it's
Belgium.
like 3 months, 3 weeks,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, so for the summer break, maybe we'll get you guys to send us some questions in, and then we'll do a kind of one-off podcast just answering all your questions.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of summer break, so have some more content going out. So get those questions in. You can include it in the comments below in this video. You can send it through Twitter at TBMF1Show, or you could also do it on Facebook or by email, whatever works for you. For some reason, my Twitter notifications don't always come in for our account, but I'll try and get that fixed. Yeah, but we always check it every now and again. So, yeah, any questions? I mean, really, even doesn't have to be about F1. Maybe it could just be ask me anything type of thing.
Yeah.
And
sure.
We'll have some fun with it. So get all those questions in. You can ask more than one question if you want, and we'll get all those answered in a separate podcast during the summer break.
Sounds good to me.
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
Should be good.
Ask those questions.
Great. Okay, we're still on the push for 1,000, guys, so share it with your friends and help us get over that milestone of 1,000 subscribers. Thanks to all the new ones as well and all of our old listeners that have been with us since the beginning.
Day one, yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate all the support, and, yeah, we'll see you for the German preview. Have a good day.
Thank you.